Today, we eat blackberries. Come on, let's go. Today, we eat blackberries. Come on, let's go.
Days of streaming every night. Not only just chilling, but I'm outside. I'm outside, people. One take. I'm outside, y'all. I'm outside. After
What's up? What's up? If you hear me out there, what's up? How are you? How are you doing? Should I get a poll together? Don't have a poll yet. You know what? Since it is open studio, I'm gonna clear the deck on my other screen over here. And when we're waiting for people to come in, maybe we'll do some technical stuff. Say what's up when you come in the chat. Um, Welcome to Open Studio with Darnell just talking. A few people come in here and we'll get started. I don't know what I was working on here. I'm gonna just get a poll off the top of the head. Oh, my bed level music isn't there. Hold on 1 second. Um, Alright, cool. So you can hang out with me while I get this goofy stuff together in the background. Like I said, if you're hanging out, so this is what I've been rocking with. Let me just take this hex value. I don't know what I want to do, but the main scene that I have, I feel like I need to do something with it. because with the way it shows on the mobile phone, at the bottom of it, oh, I still got you. I got the wrong screen up. The way it shows on a mobile phone at the bottom of it, still a little off to me. Okay, so I'm gonna start with that hex value that I just popped that in here. Okay, so this nice little baby blue light color. Oh, I didn't even finish the poll. Stream team, make the pick. Welcome, 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 sir. Waiting for a few people to get in here, and I figured I might as well work in real time. All right, I'm setting up a poll. I'm using the side of my brain that ChatGPT has improved. The only thing that I'm not able to do, because I think when you put the emojis in there, it takes it to the next level. But I'm not able to do that like directly from the app. So, okay. Oh, maybe I need to move my face so that people are aware that I'm actually here. All right, let's see. Okay. Okay, so I'm working on a poll. Do you carry on to childhood? I did not put the trauma. Did I spell that right? Yes, I did. All the time. Hey, Katie. He was watching some older videos. Only got through B1. Hey, I'm just trying to get this last option on the poll. Do you carry on to childhood trauma all the time? I try not to, but it's hard. Okay, I got it. I don't have any. Good. Damn. All right, polls up. So, guys, thanks for coming in here. I hate to say it, but I'm gonna keep that positive energy somehow. But man, pulling my strings. They are pulling my strings. So take the poll. The poll's a good one, I believe. It's what I want to talk about. And maybe we can have a real conversation. I may even get into some story time if it makes sense. I'll try to. The topic for me is centered around trauma. I don't have a specific response to what I'm going through and why I felt the need to come bring that. But I'm just trying to do this in real time, and that's kind of what I was feeling today or tonight, the day that led into the night. We'll go back and watch more later. Really going there. Childhood trauma. You don't want to hear mine. Yeah. Well, maybe that's the problem. I mean, where's really the forum to to I don't know if it's just venting, but to work through the trauma. Like, obviously there's therapy. Um, but if so many of us have things that occurred to them that stick with them, you know, we're not alone. And I don't know, maybe we're doing this wrong. Maybe we're doing this wrong. And all that's going on in the world, and people putting out threats to a good number of people in the world, and back and forth and back and forth. It, obviously you're somewhat powerless to what you can do and contribute to those things, but I don't know, a lot of feelings of trauma. I'm feeling multi-dimensional trauma. So I don't know. We'll see where it goes. Um, see if just a few more people come in here. Let me see what things are looking like from YouTube side. Okay. Well, we won't wait too long for people. Katie, is your childhood trauma? Is it I don't know if you took the poll. Okay, I got one poll vote. Somebody says, I let it go some time ago. Yeah. The childhood one is tough. Because a part of, I don't know how much you guys dig into trauma, but there are people, there is a train of thought that says that trauma is transferred to the next generation and to the next generation. Oh, nice. You go celebrate recovery to work through. Okay. You did 11 years of counseling. Okay. Well, good. Hopefully, I don't want to bring up any triggers. Yeah, it's really not from that angle. I guess since you said that, just a little history about me. When I was in college, I got the privilege to work at a halfway house. Most of the people were mandated there for, mostly narcotic abuse. And I got a real world, real story. I didn't have to turn on the TV. He said, no, I'm fine, good. And, I got to sit up and at times get manipulated because they were really good at that. But I got to, sit in the house. I think we have 14 residents. And when I would do overnights and it would just be me. And, things would happen and we would figure them out. But it was good to hear. It's a very vulnerable position for a lot of those people to be in. And in that position, there's literally a fork in the road. And I got to see the fork in the road as if it was like in front of me. It was like super visible. I had two really good friends who, till this day, one got me the job, the other one also worked there. And the first thing I was told, both of them are females, and the first thing that I was told, which I question now, she said, don't read their files. Yeah. It says right here on the training manual, it says, read their files. She says to me, don't read their files. So that was two trains of thought, like I said. And I listened. I didn't read their files. Yeah, yeah. So it's like I said, it was 14 residents, and her main reasoning, and I think she kind of imposed her own understanding on me, just her own emotional response. She said, "Don't read their files because you wanna." Oh, that man, that's a good dish doer there. Who needs a dishwasher when you got Mick the Pick? Who needs a dishwasher? Yeah, I mean, I hear you, Katie. On one hand, though, I'm not in a position of, even though you indirectly helped them, I was a glorified babysitter, someone, with the keys that had a very short list of rules, the do's and don'ts, and try to keep order in the house. They're mandated there by the court system. Everyone was mandated there. And the house had rules, and as long as they follow the rules, when it came to counseling or whatever they were doing outpatient, I wasn't involved in any of that. But like I said, obviously indirectly, I mean, we dined together, right? Like, it was the type of your daughter would love to come through to, hey now, Katie, we had Yuffie last night, and make the pick make the pick, you gotta say, I'm married. You guys are funny. But yeah, I'm not I'm just, I don't want to say I'm security, because I'm managing, a sign out log and a sign in. I'm managing certain things. My main responsibility was there's like a lockup, so to speak, curfew. So they have to be inside by a certain time. We all have to eat dinner. So I don't know if you guys know that type of environment, but one of the key things for the people that's going through what they're going through is being very systematic, the routine, right? All of them, trying to get on the right side of the 12-step program. So you can't like not wake up and say, you know what, I'm just gonna sleep in today. That's how you gotta say yes. Hey, you gotta teach. You could teach a class on doing dishes, make the pick. Yo, all these guys that are struggling out there, like, you're doing it wrong, man. You're just doing it wrong. You gotta get your Dawn soap. you gotta go wax on, wax off. I actually prefer. I don't do dishes enough. I can learn from you. But I do prefer doing dishes over a dishwasher. But yeah, so there were a lot of rules in the house, short list, but they were very strong rules. Like, we had to eat the meals together. There was a rotation on who cleaned what, who cooked what, like when it was your turn to cook, and everything would just like rotate. And then they couldn't leave unless they would have to sign out. Some of them didn't even have the privilege to sign out and be free, right? Okay, you worked in caregiving, psych hospitals, and group homes. Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. But you're on the psych side, right? Like, for me, now granted, I would say this, the person who told me that, she still does work in the field. And I think I was the right person to tell that to. I don't think you could tell that to anyone, because where I'm from, you meet so many people. I've met those personalities time and time again. Like, you could call out a lie. There's only one guy who got me. I tell you, this guy got me good. This guy got me real good. Till this day, man, I would love to have a sit down with him. I wish he's well. And without disclosing names, the story is easy. he got me because there was one part of their personality traits, when they stop, holding themselves accountable, and they want to reflect that other people aren't doing the right thing. Like they're on task, their program is going great, but they clearly want to point out what other people are doing because they're taking their program serious. And I was working overnight mostly. Like I would come in, I guess like 7 o'clock, and be there till 7 the next morning. And so I would do dinner. Then it's curfew, dinner. Then they have to go to bed. Going to bed means that they're in their room. I would have to go upstairs to every room with a flashlight and just make sure they were in their beds. I actually didn't enjoy that. I didn't enjoy. You would have to check, like, are they, shine a light, like, you there? It was kind of inhumane, But these people are not. They, if it wasn't me doing it, somebody had to do it. So I gave them grace when I could. But this one person, he would always find his way to come downstairs, and the reason why is he wanted to talk about like how happy he is to be turning the corner. And there's other people, he would put it like, not to, I don't want to say no names, but other people's not taking a program that serious. Oh, you have experience with addictive behavior too. It's almost never the addict's fault. Daywalk, what's up, man? Nice to see you. Yeah, it's right. It's definitely almost never their fault. And at this point, like I said, they're already on the 12-step program. They're getting care. If they had to do some time inside, they did their time inside already, and now they're in this program trying to transition so they could get back to the world. A lot of them, their lives are in tragedy. This one person I'm talking about that manipulated me really bad, he pretty much lost his family. He had a business, lost everything, and went down this dark road. And so he spent the better of 11 months to a year. Almost every night I worked, he would just come down, and it was like keeping me company. And I thought it was him having a human experience. I needed it too. At the time, I had messed up in school, and I ended up taking off a semester. I quit the basketball. I didn't play on the basketball team that year. I quit the team, and I didn't end up playing. And I'm trying to fix some things, like put the pieces back together. And luckily, I was able to get that job, and it helped me, how people have to do it either when they mess up or when you don't come from a family who's just, providing everything. I had to figure out how to pay cash to go to school to fix some of this stuff and get my financial aid back. So I needed the job. So I was grateful to have it, and I'm just going to do whatever I need to do. But I wasn't there to be manipulated, So everybody liked me. It was a nice situation. It's nice to feel wanted. But I think deep down inside, they're waiting for the next opportunity to manipulate me. Like, oh, he's nice. He's a nice one. He smiles. He's very positive. So this guy, he finally, and all of the people that are there, it's not really a time frame. It's based on like evaluation. So you kind of gotta convince the people, the professionals in there, what the deal is. You gotta convince them. that you've actually turned the corner. And he finally got to the point where he turned the corner. And he wanted, they got to kind of decide and say what they want to do, because if they don't have a plan, it gets really dangerous. So what he wanted to do was go to school. So I'm already in the school that's local, and he wanted to go to school. So when he got out the program, I saw him, and he calls me out, and I'm super happy because I'm proud. I've been watching this guy put in work for like a year, right? He not only put in worked on himself. He also would come down and talk and chat. So I was invested in his success. And I remember it clear as day. He goes, "What's up, man? How you doing? Hey, where's the building? Where's the Bursa?" He said, "The Bursa office." That was the last time I seen that gentleman. This man, I can't say because I'm not him, but he had a plan of going to school. And I think what he actually planned was, oh, they giving out money? We gonna be good then. So it wasn't his time. It wasn't his time. I think it was too much too soon, or it was just already planned and it didn't work out. And I felt like a responsibility because he was on campus. I saw him and I didn't do anything wrong. You can't answer the poll, Daywalk? That might be a YouTube thing, because some time ago, Blue Daffodil said that the only way that the poll that they were able to answer is if they put a comment in the chat. That might be YouTube. Can you tell me what your answer is in the chat? if you don't mind disclosing. Or just put the number and I'll mentally put it in. But yeah, so that was the last time I saw that gentleman, and I heard he went on a weekend tour and ended up back into the same cycle. And but that's the trauma, right? That's the trauma. So let me just read off the poll. We only got a couple of votes so far, but I just want to say it out loud. I can't say I put a lot of work into this, but I was trying to captivate what I was feeling. Do you carry on to childhood trauma all the time? I try not to, but it's hard. I let go some time ago. I don't have that isn't typed right, so I clearly did that. I don't have any childhood trauma. So 50% I try not to, but it's hard, and 50% I let it go some time ago. Yeah, I think some of the deepest things are still traumatic for me. I think a lot of people don't like certain words like trauma. They only use it externally. But if you think about the things that you always refer back to of why you do what you do now, like there's so many things why you do what you do now that's likely based on where you come from in your childhood, the things you've seen in your environment. And yeah, I think that more people than not are dealing with like trauma. Like for me, I have more than a handful of when in growing up, like pre being an adult, I have more than a handful of people that are no longer here, and it was from some like violent act, right? And to say that that doesn't traumatize me, it absolutely does. It absolutely does. So yeah, I don't people deal, you know. We're tough, we're resilient, but sometimes to a fault. I think that's just the what I wanted to bring to light. Hey, Don't we simmering down with some with trauma bonding? Never heard that term until like a couple years ago. I was just telling a story about Mick the Pick. You find that heavy, man? You have no idea. See, I'll tell you something about me. I can't tell you that it's intentional, but you've known me for some time, Mick the Pick. You've always seen me with headphones. The headphones are a shield. The headphones allow me to be in a world, whether I'm like a lot of the music that I might listen to, I kind of just vibe and go with the flow. But music is something, sound and smells, but sound brings you back. So I could be, you know, working all day, or it looks like I'm having fun, but the music that I'm listening to is connected to something that I've gone through. And because I'm always with headphones and listening to music, you never know. You never know. I might be, dealing with something. They look cool. Well, you think so, but my when I go play ball, they call these the lawnmower 2000s. Yes, I do self inventory all the time. I look back at when and where my behavior started at. That's great. What my responsibility is for the behavior now. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. That's a great way to look at it. Yeah, I have I and it's not solo to like me as an individual. I share some of it with like my siblings. Just some things that we've gone through or looked at. There's some things we've spoken about as adults, and it's like, man, the things we used to be able to laugh about, that wasn't funny. And like, maybe we weren't really laughing. Maybe we were crying with a smile. But yeah, it's super real. One of the people who, now this is sad. I won't get emotional, but this is sad. Um, my two favorite people ever are no longer with us. So when I want to talk about something, I struggle because I know that the two people that I want to speak to aren't here. And I can't, like, and that's when I feel like, man, I wish AI was here to capture their voice and their mannerisms, because that would be awesome. Like, just to get me through a day or something. But yeah, my grandfather and my, like, I guess he's like my uncle. And I'm not super connected to his family to know how he passed, but he passed the November before COVID got discovered. So COVID was a April thing, and he passed away in November of the November prior to that of natural causes. So and he wasn't that old. It wasn't that natural. But I didn't. The crazy thing, this really burnt, and this is very traumatic for me. I didn't know. So, maybe you guys have gone through that as well, where there was somebody who passed in COVID and you didn't know, and you just haven't been in touch, and then you kind of find out. Um, there you go. There you go. Rhodes. Yep. That's interesting. Yeah, all right, so I left my job on May 1st of 2020. I didn't know COVID was gonna COVID, right? So I left my job and I picked up some work here and there, contract stuff. And then I started getting excited about building this application. So I found myself working super hard, working on this application. And here's what's crazy. I named it, let me see if the site is still up. I named it MADA, which is Adam backwards. And I'm finishing it up like the MVP version. MVP stands for minimal viable product. And I'm so excited because, like, for me, this is a person, I actually have it. This is a person who's been in my life my whole life. And I make this graphic. This is hear me. We're getting close now. This is real. I make this graphic of him. And this is him at my baseball game when I'm like 12 or 13. And this, if you see my mouse cursor, this is a ribbon, a little ribbon that they make for Father's Day. He's not my father. I have a father. My father's alive. He ain't super well right now. But I have, we've always had a good relationship. I've always loved my father. But this man taught me how to be me. This is the guy who introduced me to wrestling. This is like my guy. So I make this application and I'm super proud of it. I name it Matter for him. His first name is Adam. I didn't refer to him as Adam, but it was like something deep that I was thinking about. And then I went on Facebook and I went to his page, and you know what I saw. You know what I saw. And I was like, I called my mother. She had no answer for it. Did he pass away? And mind you, it's like 2022, 2023. No, this is a true story, Make the Pick. True story. So I was stuck. As far as the application build, I'm still kind of stuck because that moment I was waiting for the wise words of him. He's like, to me, he is like Sanford and Son, like Fred Sanford. That's who he is. He's like Fred Sanford. He's a joker. I have some cool stories about him. He was once in the newspaper, in the Daily News, for he chose to be homeless at a point. He rallied a group of homeless people. He was called like the captain, and according to the paper, I wish I could find. I'll probably could find the article because we would save stuff like that. And he was called the captain. And what he did was he tapped into all the electricity under a bridge, and he made like little apartments for these homeless people, and they were living better than some people with apartments. That was my babysitter. That was my babysitter. He's the one who showed me the ropes. We would get on the train and go to Manhattan, because he lived in Manhattan. I lived in the Bronx, so whenever I would see him, or he would take us, we would get on the train and go to Manhattan, and you start seeing some crazy stuff when you go to Manhattan. And it's always been like that, right? Depending on where you go. And he would expose us. He would tell us what it was. And it just wasn't shy about life. So I took the good and the bad. And we grew together. And I don't want to say I'm partly a kid, because being youthful is really not being a kid. It's just like being joyful of life and happy and proud, right? And I'm that. And he showed me that he was one of the only adults that he did adult in things, but he was able to have a balance, I remember this cool story, and this doesn't feel so traumatic now. I'm getting it out. Thanks, guys. My junior high school. What age did you guys go to junior high school or middle school? What's the age or grade that you guys go? I think I have a good story for you, and it includes my man. My man made it. He made it on my channel. Somebody in the chat, just tell me the age or the grade. So we started in 6th grade. And in New York at the time, at least in the school district, I think this is New York wide. Okay, you did 7th grade. So that's, my sister is a few years older than me. She did 7th grade, and it was only 7th and 8th. And I think with my cousin, who's even more years older than me, junior high school was 7th, 8th, and 9th. And then they eventually took 9th into high school. I don't know why, but I guess they do these shifts based on the population and what they have available. So I left elementary school in 5th grade, and I ended up in junior high school in 6th grade. And New York City at the time did not have an age cap on junior high school. I don't know about high school, but I could speak to junior high school. So when I tell you, and I could get a few people to come on in and vouch for this. In fact, youth, we ended up going to the same junior high school. Sorry I missed some. Had Mormon missionaries come to the door. They keep track of people and talk to me after leaving church. Okay. That's a wild card. I've never had that happen, actually. I'm a little jealous. I watched that stuff on TV. Okay, 7th grade was junior high school. Yeah. Okay, so a lot these days, more so I see a lot of 6th grade. So I was 6th grade. I was like, one of the early ones that got 6th grade junior high school. Now, what makes it interesting is that you're 11 years old. You are now going to be commuting. So up until then, mom's is taking us to school on her way to work. And now they gave us a bus pass, and we had to commute to a school. My school, if I had to say, it might have been maybe 3 miles away, about 3 miles away. And it wasn't like a straight. You had to go through all different neighborhoods, which, created some other traumas. But I'll stick to the one about Sir Adam. So was not me. No, I just have a diverse I just have diverse watching habits. I recently watched a doc about a lady that committed some like egregious crime in Utah. She was helping people with marriage counseling, and she would eventually get the man out of the house, and she made an enormous amount of money doing it, because the families were kind of like indebted to to her process, and then they would end up divorced, but she would have made a lot of money, and then she ended up going to prison. There's a Netflix doc out there. I'll find it and give you the name of that. But I watch Amish stuff. I just watch different cultures. To me, I don't judge. I just like to see how people think. So 6th grade means you're commuting, and so now this is the first time that you're going miles from your house. You're 11 years old. You're pretty much on your own in society. It sounds bad. Like, my daughter's 11. I wouldn't want that for her. But that's what we had. And my school had 18-year-olds in it. This is the first year I was there. There was no age cap. So they had kids in there that had no ambition to go to high school. And they were, did I say it? Okay, let's just say they had 16-year-olds in there. I can't prove that some were 18. I know some were definitely 16. And they used to hang out with the 18-year-olds who also didn't want to go to high school. So to a 11-year-old, a 16-year-old, and many of them, that's a scary thing. That's a scary thing. Especially back in those days, first day of school energy, you got to get the fits. You got the nice clothes on. You probably made the wrong decision. It's the early 90s, so you got colorful shirts on. You coming out of the cross color era, and you trying to be into the hard hip hop era. 3 years ago you had on a Michael Jackson glove on, screaming out. And now you can't do that. We got to be cool, So I remember my first day of school. I almost got robbed. I was smart enough to know what the guy was doing because it was sketchy. I was walking into school, so I was crossing the street, and all I heard was, yo, shorty, yo, you got the time? And he did this. He said, you got the time, and then he did this. You got the time? So I turn around, and I see like 8 dudes. I was like, and it's really hard to articulate to your mom who thinks that she's sending you to school. That was a jungle. Like the parts of that were outside of the classroom, they did not resemble school. So I ran into the school. Then on the way home, a kid gets jumped on the bus, and for his JanSport. This is JanSport days. Kind of laughable looking back at people were getting jumped more for the strings. Literally a string. If you don't know a string, the JanSports used to come with a little like tie string on the back, and you were cool to collect those. You probably stole them from a bunch of people when they weren't looking, but if you had like unique colors, so you might find someone with like 80 strings on their bag. So this one kid, he had a red JanSport, and they got him on the bus. I was on the bus. The bus was super packed. People were hanging out the bus. The bus drivers, like, so we ended up, it's the first day I jumped out of a bus window. So there's like an emergency latch. You open the latch, and I was with 5 other who are now some of my best friends. 5 other people who, when we were in elementary school, we all weren't cool. But because of the jungle that you just put us in, we were best friends from that day on. No one messed with us. So we had to jump out the window of a moving bus, not moving fast, but still kind of sketchy. And that's how we got, we made it on, and we walked the rest of the way home. And, it was exciting. It was like, wow, this is what junior high school is like. So about a week later, I'm in the school, and I remember, I got to use the bathroom. So I asked for a pass. So they give me a pass. I'm in a good class. I'm always in the. Oh no, make the pick. We didn't get nowhere yet. So I get a pass to go to the bathroom, and that's the scariest thing, because when you're in the hallway by yourself, when when everyone's in class, you may end up in the bathroom with the wrong company. So what I'm about to tell you didn't happen in the bathroom, but it changed my life. It absolutely changed my life traumatically. That's what we're talking about. So my school was in the shape of a T, right? It was just a long T. It was 2 floors, but it was just in a T. And when you came around that hallway, so you come from this side and then you come around. So I hear somebody say, "Yo, what up?" And he puts his hands up. And I'm turning the corner when I hear it. And I see the guy lift up his shirt. And he's holding on to a gun. I'm in 6th grade. We're in school. If that's what you wanted to do, just don't go to school. I'm trying to learn. And I was in performing arts, so I'm trying to dance. I'm trying to sing. I don't want no problems, my man. But you can't act weak. So I gotta act like I didn't see anything. I got the blind Stevie Wonder eyes. Let's just keep it walking. Let me just go to the bathroom. So, oh man, I got so many stories. Make the pick. So I leave school at the end of the day, and obviously at that point I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Like, so I leave school. We don't take the bus anymore at this point. We don't even 3 miles, whatever. We just gonna fight them, run from them. We just gonna make it home, right? We barely took the bus at this point. And I remember going to In fact, in my short, there's a scene where the short that I just filmed on Easter, where I say something about the Christmas sign. I was literally a block away from there. University Avenue is where my friend, I feel comfortable saying his name. He passed away last year. Jason, that's my guy. And after school, I went to Jason's block, and it was random. I just saw him. Jason used to always get in trouble, change his life around afterwards. But Jason, he wasn't a troublemaker. But he would get in a lot of trouble. So I was in school with Jason since kindergarten. That's my dog. That's my homie. And Jason had a little sticky finger habit. So what's up, Jason? Jason's plotting on how to go into the store to steal some drinks. So he used to wear these big doofy pants, and he would somehow maneuver in these 4 drinks in each leg and then walk out the store. It's early 90s, so the clothes is super duper big, and get out of the store unscathed. Well, this time, of course, Jason gets caught. So Jason gets caught, and the store owner's like screaming, we should have you arrested, but we're kids. We're like kids, right? I wasn't even supposed to be there, but this is how you get into trouble, right? So Jason runs to go get his friend, because the store owner's like an adult, but he's kind of aggressive. Guess what friend he go get? He go get the guy that was in the hallway with the gun. Oh. So now I'm meeting the friend on the same day that he just see me in the hallway. And I discovered that he was packing coming into junior high school. I didn't know how I was going to get out of this one. And I just said, like, this environment is crazy. Let me stay close to my friends, And that's what we did. And we pretty much were unscathed. Except the one day there's 2 haunted days in the early childhood in those parts. Halloween, that's a dangerous day. And freshman Friday. That first Friday of school is a really bad day. So I already know what's up, and I ain't afraid to tell my mom, listen, I don't want to go to school on freshman Friday. Mom's like, what do you have to go to school. You don't get to just stay home. So she said, you know what? I'll let. His real name is Wayne. It feels wrong calling him Adam. His middle name is Wayne. His first name is Adam. So she goes. He said they had freshman Friday in AR. No, that's a real thing, man. That is a real thing. Some people don't make it. They don't make it back, or they're affected forever. So Wayne, my mom, she summoned Wayne. That's what a good uncle does. And Wayne's like, I'm gonna come pick you up from school, man. You ain't got nothing to worry about. I said, I don't think they know how bad these kids are. So Wayne's he's a grown man at the time. He ain't a little guy. I ain't never seen him in no situation where he getting punked out there. They gonna see me with my uncle. They probably think it's my father. He act like he's my father. He's very protective of me. Nobody gonna touch me, right? I ain't afraid. It's 6th grade. You wanna be like, oh, you had to bring your parent to school? I don't care. I'm gonna get home that night, play my little 2D Nintendo game. I'm gonna be playing Double Dragon later, offline, on my 17-inch TV. So Wayne picks me up from school, and I could tell you exactly where this occurred too. It's so crazy. We make it about halfway, and halfway again in my short, there was a point when I was underneath the train tracks. That's the 4 train. That's Jerome Avenue. So we were crossing over on Jerome Avenue, and he got the cool walk. Back in those days, a walk was everything. Like, I was taught you gotta walk a certain way. You watch all the movies, everybody had like a walk. It was a cool walk. Like Wayne used to say to me, and I say this to my daughter sometimes, she don't get it, or she think it's cheesy. He be like, cool in the gang. If he says cool in the gang, you gotta hit him with a gang in the cool. Like he was one of those guys. He was super cool. 70s cool. And we were walking past a McDonald's, and I remember him saying, man, see, you ain't got nothing to worry about. When he said, see, you ain't got nothing to worry about, imagine we were walking together, and he turned and looked at me, and he says, see, you ain't got nothing to worry about. And then he looks forward and keeps walking, but I had already stopped. And he's just walking like, he's still doing the cool walk. And as he's walking, there's a guy pointing a gun 3 feet in front of him. True story. I had already stopped. I didn't say anything. I was stuck. And my fake uncle, is supposed to be here to help me get home and feel safe. He's tough. You ain't got to worry about nothing. And he walks, and the gun is right in front of him. And in the spirit of Wayne, he goes, He sees it. Just turn back around, and like, it ain't my business. No, so Mr. Pick, he didn't see it until he saw it. When he saw it, he had already went like 4 strides in front of me. So he saw it because it was so close at that point. And he turns right back around. Not my problem. And then, he basically, so he leaves me. The next thing you know, he's back with me, and we walking the other way. It was hilarious. And he's telling me now on the way back, he's asking me for pointers. Because it's so many ways to go home. We had just decided to cross over to Jerome to go to Fordham Road. We could have taken Kingsbridge. And we end up taking Kingsbridge. But I think that he was in disbelief of what I was telling them about what I was observing. And he experienced it. And it's not that all these kids were shooting guns and people were getting shot, is that there was too much exploring going on and threatening people and just things that you don't, again, just traumatic things that you don't need to be exposed to. And they would go on all the time. But yeah, it's oh, Be Real. Be Real probably got some stories too, man. Me and Be Real, we didn't go to the same junior high school. We did not. I'm pretty sure his junior high school, I think, equally had bad kids. But the difference is that they had a very popular specialized program in it. And they would get, favoritism. So there's only but so much a school could tolerate. I'll do it real fast. We were talking about childhood trauma. And I know you wanted, so I was expressing how my fake uncle, whose name is Wayne, but his first name is really Adam, and I didn't realize that he had passed away before the official start of COVID. I speculate that he actually passed away from COVID the November before, so 2019. And I never found out because we don't keep in touch like that. He's not really my family, and he is my contact. And I worked on this application for a couple years, and I wanted to show him. He was the one. I named the first version of the application after him. This is a picture of him at a Little League game of mine, wearing a Father's Day ribbon as if I'm his son, and just being so proud of who I am. And I found out when I was looking for him, going to Facebook, that he passed away a couple years already. What do you mean, where is D? What D you looking for? You looking for me? So then I was telling a story about how what's good, bro? Then I was telling a story about which was connected to him, about how in junior high school, where I went, how it was kind of rough in the beginning. Almost got jumped on the first day. There was a fight on the bus. We jumped out the window. Me and some of the other bros, we were really close after that. A couple days later, I seen a guy, when I went to the bathroom, I seen a guy lift up his shirt. He was holding a pistol, and I ended up meeting him later because my friend Jason, who passed away last year, he introduced me to him after he tried to steal from a store, and the store clerk was trying to come at him, so he went to his friend, which happened to be the same guy who had the gun. So I was afraid of Freshman Friday in 6th grade. And that was the story that I was just telling, because my Uncle Wayne came. Can he see us? Who are you talking about? What in the ghost tale are you talking? Who's he? Anyway, I was just trying to catch you up, bro. And my Uncle Wayne came to take me home, and he took me halfway. So far, we was on Jerome, right by Olympic Town and McDonald's. And as he's talking to me, he turned to me and was like, "Yo, it's not so bad. I told you it was going to be all good." And as he said that, a guy pulls out a gun right in front of it, right in front of us. But he didn't know, so he kept walking towards it until he realized it. And he turned around. He did one of those He turned around. I give you another good Wayne story. He would because he was homeless for some time, some by choice, some he just knew how to live. He used to go and he would buy Kool-Aid, right? he had some nice sized hands, and he would push the Kool-Aid pack so close together that it looked like it was one. And then he would just flip at the time I think it was like 10 cents, and he would have like 5 Kool-Aid packs, and he would just flip the dime at the clerk and just walk out. Have a good day. Oh man, I love that guy. He had all the tricks. He was like cruising through life, man. Cruising through life. But he introduced me to so much. So I'm super grateful. A lot of my hustle spirit, I got to see things, you know, from different angles. So, but yeah, I know it doesn't sound like trauma because I'm like happy to be talking about him, but I didn't know I was gonna bring him up. Yeah, I was just want to talk about childhood trauma and the things. So what traumatized me in that story is that kids that young shouldn't have to go through those experiences, you know. And that's the stuff you don't go home. You can't tell your mother that you jumped out of a window of a bus, you know. That's the stuff you can't tell your mama. Till this day, if I told my mother, yeah, I just jump out of, the city bus, you pull that lever, you like pry it up, and then the whole back window opens up, and all you need is for somebody to hold it while y'all jump out of it. A shared sadness is half the sadness. Mick the Pick is cooking. We in the building. Team is here. Oh, he just waiting for me to do that. But yeah, man. I think some of the message from me is, we can't be letting people trick us out of our spot. We gotta fix the trauma, or deal with it or reason with it. I like what Katie said it earlier. I was doing like an assessment. Hold on, let me find. Says she does a self inventory all the time. I look back at when and where my behavior started at, what my responsibility is for the behavior now. That is a really good way to look at it. Don't be starting that, be real. Absolutely, Katie. Those experiences made me who I am today. But I would say the only problem, because we've been talking about kids being in a bubble. We've been talking about parenting. Some of these things you can't really pass off. So that's why the book is important. That's why writing, finding a way to stamp something for whatever reason. People read it and you're no longer here, and it probably vibrates with them. But when there's not much. My kids are growing up in a different world than I did. Why are you saying he's sad? You're not sad. Yeah, my kids grew up they're growing up in a different world than I did, and yeah, I'm okay with that. I wouldn't want them to see that stuff. If I didn't have some of the friends that I had, it would be super different. What do you mean? What did you miss? What's up, man? You out here fingering a lot of stuff in the chat, but you not listening. What you doing? You want me to put a video up of you here? Be real. I told you, call me. I need a trauma story from junior high school. Oh, don't blow B Real's head up. We need this content. You said the 10th. You got a 4-day countdown now, man. Really 3 days. Um, but yeah, I think that time was super traumatic. Um, Trying to think of some other things that happened around that same time. So I think for the most part, I roll with the. He did. Thank you. And you know what? I did it on. I don't even speak that fast, Katie. I did it on speed mode. It's just like this happened, that happened. I thought I did a good job of it. I'm in the moment. I'm in the moment. And just to add to Wayne, Wayne had a best friend named Jack. Now I said had. Jack was just as cool as Wayne. So you could imagine, like, I had a lot of people to look up to. A lot of men. Were they men that I looked up, that I cared whether what they did for a living and how successful they were in the world? Nope. It was the love. It was the energy. It was the peace, people who protect families and just live for the right things, even just in your face. Like, you really don't know, now that I'm grown, a lot of people, there's so many dimensions to who they are, but I had a good amount of people. So Wayne and Jack, they were like super, good friends, and I know they was into some stuff. I know there had to be some drugs. Me and my sister, we always like speculate, but it's hard to really understand. And Jack got killed when I was like 6 or 7. And that was the first funeral that I actually remember. So it's like this. It wasn't this, someone passed of natural causes or it's a family member or they don't tell you, they ease you into it. No, Jack got stabbed and he died, and it rocked our world, and we were exposed to it. One day Jack was there, the next day Jack wasn't. And Wayne, I'm sure he had a lot of grieving time. That was his best friend. But then he got us all through it. And I remember him being, filling the role of the 2 people that were around, and now it was 1. But there was a lot of trauma, And I still had a fun life, but those are the things that kind of stick with you. Like, my kids don't really understand violence. Like, the news to them and the things that are going on, it might as well be like a fantasy world. Make the pick. Don't get me started, man. You're gonna egg me on, man. But yeah, no, it's a lot of things happen. A lot of things happen. Yeah. But Katie, you're right. Like, a lot of those things, they kind of help to coach you. Like in the recent times, how there's a lot of kids, or I shouldn't say a lot, but there's still a good amount of people who do silly things like subway surfing. Right? Like, when I was in the city the other day and I saw a train for the first time in a long time, that's the first thing I thought about. I see iron. It might as well be a building rushing through the tracks. And in the 4 train, it sounds like it's all friction. There's no smoothness to what the train sounds like. It's metal on metal. Why would you ever want to do something like that? But when I was in elementary school, there was a famous story of a kid who passed away because he surfed the back of a bus. And back in those days, they the bus had a little hump on the back, and it was popular for people to do that instead of paying your fare. And it was a kid. I don't know if he was in elementary school or junior high school, but he was a kid. And that story stuck in my head. Hence, I've never had the desire. In the bus, the city, I think they had a huge lawsuit, and they ended up changing the design of buses to make it hard for you to put your feet on the back, so it was more flat. I don't know if I should say that. I'll research what that is. BX. What's the BX in your name? Tell me you got some Bronx people coming in here. Oh, okay. Oh, you trolling. You trolling. Oh, Katie says, being in Oregon before that, Minnesota, never, experienced. I don't know what MB Cat is. I don't know what that is, BX. I thought you had BX from the Bronx. Well, welcome, and if you're leaving, goodbye. Just hanging out, talking about some trying to be delicate with a trauma, but just sharing. I don't know that artist or this, I guess, creator, but I don't think I want to talk about her. Is she okay? Something happened? So yeah, Katie, the denser the place, like the cities, the school districts, a lot of times they're overpopulated, and that's when a lot of these things, you get a lot of these types of stories. And when you grow up like that, I never saw anything that I've seen as unique, because we're all kind of going through it at the same time, like in real time. So you just roll with the punches, and but yeah, it does make you a little tough, a little too tough at times, too tough. But it has prepared me for the world. Like, there's the social side of it where there isn't much that's gonna rattle me, because I've seen a lot, Well, thanks for hanging on for a deep story time. I have a question for you guys. This is a cheesy one, admittedly, but I don't know how else to ask this question. The name Deborah, does it have 2 syllables or 3? I don't know what got me on this this angle here, but I didn't want to look it up. I just wanted, hey, Carolyn, you can see by the smile on my face, everything's been going great. Been talking about trauma, and it's been sharing stories. So I hope you had a good day. Yeah. Does Deborah have 2 syllables or 3? Oh, St. Paul. I know it well. Yeah. It is very violent. Yeah, I didn't. Oh, so Don is a two. If you say Deborah, Deborah, that's what I was. I feel like you can slow it down a little bit. Um, yeah, I feel like I don't know where I'm starting to investigate names. Maybe it's Don. Maybe Don has me a little a little messed up. I talked to Yuffie today on the phone. He told me that he thought it was really cool. You're on the phone with the internet down. Oh, that sucks. Yuffie told me he had a really good time yesterday. He thought that the chat was cool, and yeah, he said he definitely will come back. So I have some really good friends. I think in that regard, I'm super blessed. I don't know if you guys have like friends from your childhood, but who is it? Well, I don't know what his name is. Oh, Be Real. Be Real says, "What age did I know you since?" You said 2. He says 2. I say 5, but he says 2. That's a long time. I probably have at least 10 to 15 close friends. No, you didn't offend. I don't know if that's in his, Katie, I don't know if that's in his offense. No. And he's that guy would be canceled so fast on the internet. He's living through any kind of riffraff he could create in a chat. Oh, you do, Don? Yeah, I have over 10 for sure. Oh, you do live with one. Yeah, no, I have over 10 friends for sure, like close friends that I've known since like early childhood. And I already know I beat my kids. My kids don't. I don't know if it's the way that we parent these days, but like, all the kids, they all have all these activities that they do. The parents are super invested in the activities. I just came from baseball practice, and first day of baseball, and I took my other son and I used it as a time. So I actually walked 2 miles while I was there. I just said, let me just download a little fitness app and walk around the field, because I'm not gonna sit here in the cold, because it's been cold. But yeah, I think the way we parent these days, the kids don't have as much connection with even the kids that they see routinely. You have a few close friends now. How small were you, Don? If it was a handful. Smogless chair. What's up? Do you know what data smog is? That's a trigger word for me. Trigger term. Look at this. Smogless chair. Look at this. Data smog. Surviving the information glut that critiques the negative effects of information overload, coining the term data smog. The overwhelming and often useless data that clutters modern life, harming our focus, health, and culture. So why I'm triggered by that? My professor, Dr. Kim, used to talk about this. Absolutely. Shout outs to Quarantine Brenton. Did I say it correctly? Shout outs. Are they okay? So the term data smog, as I just read the definition, I had a professor, Dr. Kim, and this is in the early 2000s, and he was already talking about, I guess this book came out in 97 that I just pulled up, but he was talking about the sounds that are taking up space in our brain that prior to that point did not exist. And they're taking up memory slots. So all the alerts that you hear every time your phone, he's not doing well. Well, prayers up to. Prayers up. That's all I could say. You know, just be at peace. Be at peace. I'm glad he has someone like you who's rooting and shouting out for him. But shout outs from me as well. And I hope you're able to manage whatever's going on as well. But yeah, so we have all these alerts, these sounds that we have, not music per se, because that's a different emotional attachment. It's like these pointless sounds, and these companies, they've become known for their own, little chirps and chimes. And it's not just your phone, it's your friend's phone, it's also your friend holding his last name. He's also not doing too well. All right, well, shout outs to your friend. I don't know, it feels like you get me to say some words that I maybe I shouldn't pronounce it. And the second one you said kind of got me because you decided to put the names separate because you think I'm catching on. I'm smart, but I expect the innocence that I give to come back from the chat. So I hope everything is good if you ain't trying to troll me, for sure. Holden. Yeah, no, so you hear all these chimes. This is back like yeah. I don't think I said the first name right, and I think that's what he was like, okay, we're gonna try this again. But you hear all these sounds and they take up spaces in your brain. Oh, he was your childhood friend. Oh yeah, sorry. Well, I guess he is still your child. He's your friend from childhood. All right, Don. Yeah, no, I hope everything is okay. Did you have a good relation with them throughout this time? Because when I was speaking about that, I think that's what's key for me is that like you have all these tens or hundreds of people that you call friends, but I have a pretty good relationship with these people. Just like in the chat, Be Real 82. That's where I used to go to cut high school. I used to go to Be Real 82's house just about every day. I would get I would go a block from my house, and they had like a little breakfast truck. It wasn't really a truck; it was a cart, and I used to get a big old 75-cent cinnamon roll, and then so my mom would leave, go to work, finally, and then I would walk back across my house and go to Be Real's house, just about every day. And Be Real would cut homeschool. We would hang out, and then around noontime, I'll go back home. The coast is clear, and we'd be good. Never got picked up by truancy. Yeah, man, we were good. We were good at what we did. These are like qualities that there's so many careers that we should be sought after. Sneaky and smart. Mick the Pick, it was the life. It was the life. It was amazing. I'm not gonna lie to you. LC be real coming in. I speak the whole truth, nothing but the truth. Yeah, Carolyn, I was telling my record. I guess I'm not ashamed to say it here. I'm ashamed to say it to my children. I was absent 59 out of 90 days, a full absence, not a class cut. I had full-time days, 59 out of 90 days, and then that's when the New York City school system said, "Yeah, you gotta go, you gotta get out of here," and they kicked me out of the whole system. But yeah, it was rough, man. It was fun. Okay, let's bring it back to the trauma though. The trauma was that I wasn't a bad kid. And there was reasons, even though it was fun. And I don't know how much you know about this, Be Real. I would love to hear your side of the story. Even though it was a lot of fun, because it was more like a movie. It was like I was not as good at call. I was good. Oh yeah, you answered the phone. I got caught. I told you I got caught one time because of America Online, because my mom called the house and the line was busy. Because I was on. We only, you got one phone line. Oh, no, I got my GED. So, what's funny you say that, Carolyn? I was out of high school prior to my graduating class. So there's like I think we spoke about this before. It's like I slipped through the cracks, but it was super traumatic because I feel like once you start going down the wrong path, it's really hard in a moving scenario. Like my mom was a single parent. It's supposed to work. Every time it doesn't work, she has to take off. When she has to take off, there's all this pressure. Like we just didn't have room for me to somewhat have the lack of discipline and understanding and maturity to just follow the program. But I was screaming out at the time. I was screaming, saying something, and I didn't get any attention to what I was screaming. Right? Now, what I was asking, I feel like if you answered it, I probably was still wrong. Pretty sure if I'm talking to the kid then, I would just say, listen, I'll tell you guys what I tell my kids. And my wife will have to tell me if this is too personal. I say, every kid's going to say, oh, the teacher doesn't like, they're going to run into issues. Teacher don't like them. My boys are more like, why do I go to school? What is school for? We don't use this. I say to them, culturally in this country, we go to school. We go to school so that we could fill a workforce. Some people are going to do this. Some people are going to do that. But we don't deem people mature enough until this fictitious age, even though we all mature at different points, different times. And that's a lot of times why there's failure, And we shouldn't be telling people that they're never going to get something. It's just not their time yet. So we fail them. We failed them. But the reason why we send people to school is just it's a cultural thing. It has nothing to do with um the it's good for people to be excited about learning, but I don't think that um the academic system should be the owner of the inspiration to learn. So I separate education from academics. Education is just a part of life, right? We learn even when not being asked to learn. It's just a normal thing. We look about, we read people. We may not have the customs at home to highlight what we're going through and why it's important, as you grow older. And we leave too much of that to schools and the grading system. And, and then once you start grading people, what we're doing is we're separating people into you're good at this, you're not good at that. You are college bound, and you make that more important than being a good person in society. Don says, I refuse to allow some of my traumas to affect my life. It was not my fault. I was a child and drugged. Yeah. That's good for you. And I hope that anyone who encounters your story doesn't trigger you, and that you're able to show strength for others as well. And she says, thank goodness I don't remember too much. You did drink too much at age 14. Yeah, no, I did some things that I would love to forget. That's the one thing, me and Be Real, we don't share a story of we've never been arrested. We don't share a story of supporting each other at those times with trying to do something to make our scenario worse. I would say that the biggest the vendetta I had was against the school system. Even then, it was just against the school system. It wasn't because we would go to the after school program and we would excel and be peaceful kids and have fun. I just got too far behind, and there was no real way to fix it. Teachers talk to teachers. People put labels on you. You was bullied a lot in school. That's why I didn't like being in school. I was never bullied. That sucks to be bullied for sure. I was never bullied, but when I was in high school, a very popular gang came to New York City and started spreading across America. And that made just going to school and back home a challenge for many, just something else to think about. And yeah, I never really got caught up into those things, but a lot of kids went the wrong way from a defensive tactic. Katie was bullied too. Wow. No, I never really experienced and I didn't like bullies either. I used to make sure that most people were on neutral footing. I wasn't a quiet kid, for sure. Darnell used to talk back then as well. Yeah, that sucks, for sure. Yeah, I had older siblings, and one of the rules when you have older siblings, they gonna get to you if you don't want to face them. And if they ever hear that you're being bullied, they'll jump in one time, set the record straight, but they don't want to see you not standing up, for yourself. That's the energy that I got. but I didn't really have much of that going on. There was no isolated targeting. Um, it was hard getting home from school every day, but a lot of the people that you would see, you wouldn't really know them. It would be crossing different neighborhoods. You have been your whole life. Now you're older, stand up to people. I don't take shit from no one. Nope, not at all, ever. Dawn says, no, yeah, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. I was never bullied, but I feel like just as bad, I've been misunderstood. And I feel like I'm the type of person when people put stuff on, label unfairly. And it's usually just words, but they do have outcomes and they carry energy. Be Real says, I'm sorry you had to go through that. If I was there, I would give you a hug. A hug is going to stop the bullying. All right, Be Real. Am I allowed to tell one last story? Be Real, about an experience that we had when I had called you in my first year of college. Just tell me no. It's okay if you say no. No pressure, bro. I think it'd be a funny story. I'll wait for Be Real. Or we could save it if you want. But it's a pretty funny story. It's not really a bully story, but it could have been. Could have been like a fight, for sure. All right, Be Real went away. I'll start the story, and if he tells me to stop, stop, and then we'll get out of here. Lost a mom at age 12, and my dad remarried her and didn't get. Oh, that's tough. That's tough, Carolyn. Your mom. You did say your mom owned the bar. What was it? Drive Paris. You could drive 7 miles each way to get booze. They hated your mom. Wow. Yeah, that sucks when people just label you like that. Don't get to know you. So I'm waiting for Be Real to give me the go ahead, a no go. But let's just say this. So I had an experience. A person was actually a really good friend of mine. It's so crazy, Dawn. The friend, her name is Dawn. People's kids were not allowed. Yeah, I can see that. They were drinkers. So I had a incident with a female in college, just jawing off back and forth. We're from different communities, slightly different upbringing. I would say as a kid from New York City, when I left New York City, I had a lot of New York City ego. And it's hard to even see, I could look back now and see it, but back then, I don't know if you could get me to look in the mirror and understand it. I was also a kid, and me and the female, her name is Dawn, actually, really good friend of mine. But at the time, we didn't know each other that long. Now, I don't usually find myself going back and forth, but for whatever reason, we were going back and forth. But I knew that on a college campus, because I played basketball, I already knew that you could never get into like an altercation. There would be, a problem. At best, you would just get kicked off the team. At worst, you can get kicked out of school. So She tells me, so Dawn tells me, oh, my cousin's gonna come up here to whoop your butt. Oh, really? Really? So I call Be Real. So Be Real at the time is not super close to where my school was. Um, I would say at least he's a 40-minute drive from whatever location he's at. But he answered the call. You don't know where your fear of spiders came from. Not scared of anything else. So he answered the call. I say, Be Real. You know, I can't fight here. This girl's talking about she bringing her cousin up here. Like, if you want to just come up, come through. If not, I'll figure it out. We'll deal with it. So, Be Real, and actually, I'm going to say it as Shadow Black because that's his other screen name. He must be throw a spider on you. It's fighting words. So, Be Real, all I remember is I was on the basketball court. It was either before or after practice, but I'm still like around the court. And it was this huge field, we call it a field house, where it's all these different courts. You got volleyball courts, tennis courts, of course the main basketball court, a couple other courts, a track going around the top. It's this huge facility. You was afraid of thunder? Thunder is scary. So all I remember was being on the court and one of the main doors to the field house swings open, like a loud steel door, and I never hear that door open like that. And Be Real comes in with my other friend, he don't have no fight record. I have no idea why he was there. He probably was just with Be Real. And Be Real, who's not a small guy by no means, intimidating. He screams across. He doesn't even walk towards the court yet. She can be Dawn. I'm Dawn. Yeah. So he screams across the field house, I know nobody better be trying to put their hands on my brother. This changes the whole trajectory of what was going to happen. All they see, they heard him first, and then they see him. And he starts walking over to the court. Let's just say there was not a need to fight. Because he scared everyone that was there. And I am just laughing. I'm like, no, you did not. You didn't come up here drive from the Bronx. You know, this is stuff that you probably would, I don't know how it would have ended up in today's world. I could see an arrest. We were of age to have a real problem and things not work out well. But he was there. He was there for me. Super appreciated. And I never had an issue with Dawn. Again, we've been friends for 25 years now. Wow. I gotta check. I'll check on her tomorrow. I haven't spoken to her in a while. So yeah, that was it. I thought he was gonna tell me yes or no, but since he didn't say anything, I just told the story. Anyway, and maybe he could tell it from his side one time if he gets on. Well, that's tonight's show. I didn't know I was gonna do this long again, but it is pretty easy once we get going. protect yourself, protect your psyche. Don't let anybody trick you out of your spot. I'm gonna go with what Katie said and do an inventory on these things that might have been traumatic and figure out the responsibility that you play. Darnell, I want to just say I like coming here. Love the chats. It's like we're all good friends. Absolutely. I tell Mick the Pick, it's like we're all in a room, and I wish we could figure out how to take the next step to keep this thing going. And share the wealth. For now, it's just like if you guys were content creators, I'm definitely willing to check you guys out as well, and we could keep this group going. We started as a stream team. It may be evolving into something else. We'll figure it out though. Oh, Be Real says you told it perfect, bro. It's a show. I'm just here for the entertainment. Come on, man. You're a part of the show. You are a part of the show. We got stories for days, man. One day, I could only hope. I wish and I pray. Shadow Black Entertainment, who Be Real is Shadow Black. Shadow Black has a channel as well. He's gonna be posting some content very soon. But what I wanted to say, Carolyn says she looks forward to the chat every night. Thank you so much, Carolyn. If you ever have a suggestion of something you may want to discuss or talk about, even for a little while, please send it to me. We can figure it out. I wouldn't say that I struggle, but I think that the difference for me in the morning, in the afternoon, if I do work outside, it's hard for me to get from an energy of where I was at, right before the stream. I'm like, I don't know if I feel that anymore. Yeah, Be Real is Shadow Black. Yeah, you don't never see them in the chat at the same time. He did it to me one time. He he was on both one time. But yeah, what I was gonna say is I still have a bunch of we have tapes that we used to film stuff from growing up. I would say like 16, maybe 17, 18 years old. And I just could only hope that we can get the stuff off of the tapes. They're on an old medium, so most of it is on high 8, high 8 or 8 millimeter. He's been told lies this whole time. Yep. I'm the same person. He don't even have a avatar. Make the pick. He doing something real crazy over there. He said it was innocent when he actually explained it to me. I understood though. But yeah, we have a bunch of footage, and as time goes on, I hope to be able to, show and tell that footage. You can't, I guess in the AI world, I can make myself younger and make something, but it's not truly authentic. I like looking back and seeing where I was at. Definitely not polished. Not. I'm glad that the 20-year-old me is not the one that's teaching my children. That's all I would say. And definitely not the 15-year-old me. So, we all grow in life and we mature. And for me, I feel like a lot of it happened at the right time. So that's tonight's show, peoples. It was real fun. Like I said, things are moving in a great speed. I did have something happen today. I wasn't able to push out some content. I was really stuck on something that really bothered me. A few of you know, well, one of you definitely knows that. I'm a professional, so I feel like you have to still work through the motions and put on your professional face. So even though I did enjoy this, I could see through it that, like, man, there are some things that's going on in the background that's hard. Lauren Hill she has this thing she said about going to Disney World, and they took her through the back, and you got to see all the struggles, and it's like what people never get to see because we all put on a face. So today I put on a face. Carolyn, I haven't really decided because the shift has been occurring. I'll be super honest with you. Between you, Katie, don't make the pick. Shadow Black or Be Real, whichever personality he wants to be today. There's a few other people I would love to be on when you guys are like, when the group is pretty much there, because we all seem to be aligned. If I had to guess, it seems like it's late, like 10:30 is a good start time, and maybe we could do an action pack. I'll have as much energy as I need, and we could last an hour and a half. But I usually try to come on at 9 something, and I don't think we really get the whole group. So I think the suggestion, if you guys agree, is just to kind of lock in a time and kind of move with it. But I feel like a 10:15 Eastern time or 10 o'clock Eastern time might be good because, at least people who may go to bed a little bit earlier, if they're on the East Coast, they'll catch a little bit of the show. You don't get off work till 7 p.m. Which time zone is that? Is that Pacific? Because that would be 10 o'clock here. So, oh no, that's not. You're not in Pacific. So yeah, I think I'm gonna try for 10 o'clock Eastern time. When I've done any earlier than that, I don't think I've seen. You were talking school early, and I think I napped. Yeah, you're an hour behind. Okay, you're in Central as well. Okay. 4:30 Pacific. Yeah, I mean, like, look, I could lock in a 9:15, and that'll be cool. We don't have to go. Won't have to go so late, and that'll be 6:15 for Katie. We could try it. That's what I was doing some time ago. 10 Eastern would be fine. Okay. If 9 would be better, just say it. It works better for me in one way, but either way, when we get on and we get rolling, I'm okay with catching people up. And yeah, I know Katie's specific. Yep. So yeah, I think let's do 10. Let's do 10, and we'll see how that goes. When I had the group before, they weren't as good as you guys, but the young group that was coming in here, and when I say young, I mean young. CJ come up in. CJ is 11. CJ come up in here so quick, throw 3 jokes in, and he gone already. He ain't got no attention span for nothing. Yeah, okay. So 10 o'clock. I'll lock that in. And I'll be good about it. Take a walk after dinner. Okay, cool. I walked 2 miles today. It's the first time in a while I started getting back out there, but it's been super cold. In the evening tonight, it was like 35. And I just wanted, the sun is out. Yeah. Okay, 10 to work. Okay, 10 o'clock. We'll do 10 o'clock Eastern time. And we'll make this work. We'll make it work. Well, thanks you guys. That was awesome. Awesome as usual. I feel like this is the second week, with this crew that we've been working this out. So I'm gonna get with Mick the Pick. We're gonna see if the stream team works, or we're gonna get something that's more relative to what we talk about, what we identify with. But that was tonight's show. Thanks everybody for coming through. It was real. Thanks for letting me get the trauma out. I didn't know that's what it was going to be, but I feel like I got some of it out. So that was cool. And thanks you guys. You've been supporting a lot of my content. And it really helps the psyche, just to know that I'm doing the right thing. And so I just keep doing it. So it's been real. I see you guys. Mick the Pick says W Stream. Good night, everybody. Men's League is about going home to your family and going to work the next day. Nothing else. This don't have nothing to do with skills at this point. You ain't gonna talk to me like that. There was always music and entertainment to come back to help enrich the love.
It ain't my fault you're not subscribed.
Today is day 15th straight day of myself coming on here streaming. In many places, where you grow up determines how you operate. Like Kendrick Lamar. I went from just being a regular dude to a dad to Unk to OG. When I go play basketball, I'm considered OG, as if I'm out there throwing hook shots or something. Mick the Pick says, I think that the 90s, 2000s internet felt more special, like nostalgic, right? Is the internet more impactful today from an information standpoint today than it is in the 90s? There's a lack of diversity. You have people that see the internet as social media, and that's very sad, because if social media is the internet, then all of your information is going to be confined. If you have children, or if you're going to have children, or if you engage with children, please be honest with them. That is my only request. I have never been more honest than after I had my children. I like when I build something for people to be impacted, and I actually believe that videos, whether it's my Yo, we made it back home, y'all. They used to hang, this is where they hang like the Christmas decorations from. What store? Behold! Let's get the content. Let's get the content. That's right. Let's get the content.
You get down here, right? Yeah.
Right. Alibi.